Well, we're out here in the beautiful sun, watching the dome supposed to come down and trying to get the government to realize they need to do something about a public inquiry to the bypass. We're trying to educate people on what they're doing and why we are concerned about what they're doing and how they can help by doing a public inquiry into who's benefiting from the bypass. Instead of starting work where they should have at White City and Pilot Butte, they started work at Tower Road, which is the last place they should have. So they did as much work, moved as much dirt, knocked down as many businesses and properties as they could, and now if they have a public inquiry into it and try to stop it, they'll say, well, it's too late. It's going to cost us, and I think they've said about $1 billion to get out of the contract. And as we know, a lot of people who bought land along the bypass route are the ones that are benefiting. The people that bought property on the west end, that's already unfolding about the $103,000 an acre land deals that the government has tried to cover up by starting a legal action against CBC when they disclosed it. So you look at those land deals and you say, that isn't any different than on the east side. And on the east side you have the same players that are developing the land. On the west side you have Harvard, and on the east side you have Harvard, you have Long Lake Investments, and that's what gets people. Why should people be benefiting to the extreme they are to build a bypass through their land that isn't going to solve the problem?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy days to attend our rally to push for a public inquiry into the entire Regina bypass project. My name is Chad Novak and I represent the Saskatchewan Taxpayers Advocacy Group, which is a grassroots organization proudly standing up for the rights of individual taxpayers. We are here today, the same day that the cover gets removed off of the Legislature dome. Now this is not by coincidence. The cover on the Legislature dome is being removed to reveal the beauty of what Saskatchewan once was and is once again. The dome was erected over 100 years ago, which shows the ingenuity of Saskatchewan long before the need for paved roads, let alone highway bypasses. Now that it has been restored to better than original, we feel it is also time to restore democracy to better than original. Just like the cover on the dome, there is currently a heavy cover on information surrounding the Regina bypass. And as we as taxpayers deserve to see that cover removed to reveal the truths behind the Regina bypass and to remind us of the Saskatchewan that existed long before P3s and pricey information requests. Myself, I got involved with the Y-Tower Road Committee late in the process. Like so many, I blindly believed that while I didn't agree with what was being done, there was little that we as taxpayers could actually do about the project. Not Mr. Marglot though. Having been directly impacted by the Regina bypass and several roadblocks and personal tragedies affecting him, he continued to push hard to get the truth revealed on this project. As I've come to learn about Nestor, he isn't just about complaining about a situation. He believes strongly in exploring options. Going far and beyond the call of duty, Nestor not only publicly stated his opposition, his reservations about the Regina bypass project, he went so far as to create a truly viable alternative. Now for this, I feel he should be absolutely commended. He did a tremendous job in that sense. It's very unfortunate, however, that the government chose to go on the defensive when the northern alternative was proposed, and on the attack when legitimate questions began coming out about why they weren't exploring that northern alternative. Today, there has been so much dirt moved and so much work completed along Tower Road that we feel that this was done deliberately, that to stop the project at this point in time is simply not possible anymore, and it would be cost prohibitive. That is why we have changed our focus to demanding a full judicial public inquiry, and that is why we are here today. Literally every single day, there are more questions that arise that simply aren't answers being provided for. There are century-old homesteads literally being bulldozed through. There are many great long-time Saskatchewan residents they're being told that they have to find other places to live when they are already in their 80s, and it's just not that easy. To add insult to injury, they are also being told to do this with compensation for barely half of the current market value of their homes, simply because they were built 30 years ago. Now, how is this fair? I'm confident that Premier Brad Wall, Minister Bill Boyd, and the rest of the Saskatchewan Party caucus had hoped that this issue would disappear after the April 4th election. Well, we are here today to remind him that this issue hasn't gone anywhere, and we are here stronger than ever. Please join us in demanding a full, judicial public inquiry into the entire Regina bypass and the Global Transportation Hub. We have created a petition, and would be honored if you would sign it if you haven't already, and we are always looking for more helping hands to spread the word. Thank you for your time.
What we are looking for is an RCMP to do a investigation. There needs to be a public inquiry so that the public can find out, the RCMP can find out why and who is behind this, and why the government is not doing anything, why they're pushing it so hard for the benefit of the people that are the 1% of the people that control 97% of the wealth. So the outcome I'd like to see is that the public becomes aware of this, stands up and says, this isn't right. We need to get together, we need to ask the questions, we need to go on the website and put our comments, sign the petition for a public inquiry. The main things is location. It's in the city, and it can't go north, and the industrial area of the city is in the north. When they moved it off Tower Road back in 2013, when they had a secret meeting of just the developers along Tower Road, they moved it 400 meters to the east. What that created was a bypass that could only go south, and the people that benefited, the people that had bare land, that bought the land in 2012, and within 7 months, the city annexed the land into the city. So you ask yourself, why would they not buy the land? Why wouldn't Highways buy the property from Fallman for $12,500 is what they paid for it? But instead, Long Lake Investments bought 500 acres of land, and they now have the bypass going right through the middle of their property, which is a real win-win, because they have the bypass in the middle, a service road on each side, railroad tracks on the outside for 2 miles. So their land is now worth, not only did they get $9 million for the land they sold back to the Highways for the 126 acres the Highways needed for the bypass, but they also are going to make $1 million plus an acre for development-ready land right along the bypass. And they're creating a lot of problems going south into an aquifer, into floodplain, moving utilities. There's 430 utilities that have to be moved. At first they said it was 136, but after it went to tender, they said no, there's 430. That's why the price has risen from 1.2 to 1.88. So the public have not been informed. And the other thing is, we've asked the question of who is paying for the utilities. Is that included in the price? And they won't give us an answer. But we know that it would be over and above the price, and it could be $200, $300, $400, $500 million extra. Before we know what this bypass will cost, over $300 or $3 billion. We put together a proposal that the cost to go north from Balgony north into the city, around the city to Highway 11, number 6, back to number 1, would cost less than $1 billion. That includes having overpasses at White City and Great Plains Road. So our figures are from the government's own figures that they use in computing what the cost of highways is, and some consultation with an engineer. And then we added another 20% for good measure. So the cost to go north would cost $1 billion or less. The cost to go south will be $2 billion plus, others could be $3 billion. And the problem with going south is it's going to solve 15% of the through truck traffic. Is from their own studies, from the Stantec study, they said that 15% of the through truck traffic goes south. So where does the rest go? It goes north. How are they going to get to the north now. They're going to keep coming in on Victoria Avenue, down to Ring Road and going north.
It isn't a bypass. It's far too close to the city, but it was designed and built specifically for the developers that stand to make billions of dollars over this thing. And there'll be more things forthcoming in regards to this. And the only reason I'm speaking out is I'm a father and a grandfather, and no, I'm going to be long gone, maybe even before the thing is completed. My children and grandchildren, and unfortunately all you good people in Saskatchewan who aren't paying attention today are going to inherit this debt, this hidden debt under the P3 system. Thank you.